Today we take over Lens with a very different challenge. I've had some free scoring tactics recently. Goals have been going in from all angles. But that might not be happening today. Because we are about to create a tactic where everybody, and I mean everybody, is going to be defending. Yep, even the strikers.
Take your medicine.
So yes, for this challenge we have taken over Racing Club Lens. And I'm hoping that this team have got some good defensive attributes, including the strikers. Welcome, folks. So my big problem with this is, as we just start to tweak away at the tactic, is if we put everybody on defend duty, like everybody, no problem. That's the easy part. The hard part's going to be where and how do we score goals?
I don't know.
So like I do quite often, I think going to the archives and finding a tactic that scores quite a few goals is the way to go first. And I've chose this one, be rest free up, for a couple of reasons. The first one is I tried in France with Brest.
What?
And also it's already got two pressing forwards in there, and we know they are the only striker roles that you can nudge down to defend duty. So it instantly will do that. I mean, who has actually used the pressing forward on defend? You can see with a defend duty, the pressing forward will generally look to bring others into the game and create his own chances. Great, but who's he bringing into the game? So I'm going to go into the tactic lab now, and I'm going to create a tactic with just defend duties. Obviously some roles are going to have to change. See you shortly.
3 weeks later.
And we are back, and this is our first attempt at it, and look at all them red duties. Everybody on defend.
What the hell is even that?
That is the way they will shape up in defence. Now, when we have the ball, expect the inverted wing backs to go no further than probably there. The DLP is just going to sit there, as is he, and these guys are probably going to drop off deep. This is the problem we've got, so we're going to have to tweak the team instructions to give us a better chance.
In big trouble.
Now, mentality is an interesting one. You can see mentality is on attacking, but look how it affects each player. If we take a central midfielder on defend, for example, you can see his mentality is only balanced. If that player was on attack duty, it would be very attacking, so that's a big change straight away. You would think it would get better with the strikers, but if we look here, you can see the pressing forward, his mentality is actually cautious. So I don't think we can afford to go anything less than attacking. I'm going to keep the in possession instructions as is, but I have got an eye on shoot on sight. If we don't create enough chances, that might be the way to go, along with early crosses. I'm going to keep counter press on in the hope that they press high up and try and get their blooming asses up that pitch. So we'll keep that trigger press really high, hoping that they push up the pitch. And I'm really tempted to push this up to there, but we'll keep it there for now and just see how it goes. Right, the team's in place, and I've got midfielders in that aren't necessarily suited to the roles. For example, Fulgini here, central midfield defence. He wants to play as an advanced playmaker even higher up, but I'm going to keep him there. Flair 16, maybe he'll do something out of the ordinary, which makes me think that maybe adding in Be More Expressive will be pretty handy, so let's do that. I am fortunate that I've got 3 good pressing forwards. Buxer all round pretty decent and 6'3", which could be handy. So Toka as well, 6'2", big work rate, ideal pressing forward. And then we've got Wahi with a bit of acceleration and pace, who could be a good combination.
The future looks very bleak.
After seeing those 3, I decided to change the crosses to floated, and I'm going to add play for set pieces in this desperate search for goals.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Pre-season started a bit shaky with a loss to part-timers Bavor. However, we did start getting into it. That's the central midfielder actually going wide. Nice to see a floated cross there. We lost to La Liga Espanyol, but promisingly the match momentum was there. Our biggest challenge of pre-season was Manchester United. We conceded from a corner, but it was again good to see a big floated cross causing problems. We're going to keep that. We lost the match 2-1, but it was tight. So this man was good in pre-season, 2 assists, and he might be vital. It's all down to player instructions, I think. He's central midfielder to defend, but I've added more direct passes, take more risks, run wide with ball, so he goes a bit wider and stay wider as well. But as I watched the highlights, I did realise that we've probably got too many people in the middle. As you can see there, you could throw a blanket over all those players because we've got the central midfielders and we've also got the inverted wing backs. They're all coming in and just kind of hanging around this spot here. So that means this guy with his go wider player instructions is absolutely vital. So now I'm thinking, do we change the fullbacks? Because you can see the fullback there is an inverted wing back on defend duty, and he does not want to go down here. He keeps cutting back in, look. Keeps cutting back in and deciding not to do it. So I'm thinking, will a wing back on defence be a better option? Judging by that highlight, it probably will be. So I'm going to copy the tactic over, and on this version, I'm going to change them up to wing backs on defend. Let's have a little look. They should get a little bit further up now. It also means we can add some player instructions as well. So let's get stay wider, run wide with ball, and cross more often in there.
You said a bunch of gobbledygook that never gets to the point.
Now, I don't really do this, but if you are enjoying the content I've been pumping out recently, please do subscribe to the channel. It would help me big time, and it gives me a nice little boost. It was time for the first Ligue 1 game of the season, and it's a very tricky one up against Nice. It was a really tight match, and it wasn't until the 70th minute that the winner came. I'm actually gutted they used our plan against us. A heavy loss in the next match, but you can see how little chances are getting created, and we are dominating possession. We dominated possession again against Rennes in our next match, but this time it took an own goal for us to bloody score. But on the bright side, it is our first point.
Get in there! Get in there!
But then it was another loss to Strasbourg in another dire affair. Meaning we've got 1 point from our first 4 games. I had to change something. So I made a couple of changes. I brought a half back in, knowing that he will drop back, forcing the wing backs to go higher up because the centre backs come wider. And I did do the move that we talked about. I pushed that defensive line way higher. In the next match against Brest, it came to immediate dividends with a big header. Right, we drew 1-1, but it was a lot better, dominating the ball again, but the match momentum was ridiculous. And then, away to Montpellier, we got the win. Another deep floated cross. A dire 1-0 win. The next match we made it 2 1-0 wins in a row with another textbook goal from Lens. It's 1-0. That meant after the 7 games we'd started to get up the table a bit with 8 points, but we'd only scored 4 times.
Boring!
This is not for the paying public. If you're going to watch Lens, you're in for a rough time. We're going to keep that formation for now. Let's see how it goes. But I am loving the floated crosses. Best result yet, away draw at Lyon, followed by another good draw at home to Marseille. We then beat Toulouse with our new trademark goal. Then it was Monaco, and despite going down to 10 men for that idiocy, we got a really good 2-2 draw. And dominated possession even with 10 men. We did lose away at Auxerre and Lille, 2 really tough games, but 74% possession in that one. But overall, we've been on a great run. Then it was time for PSG. And for lovers of anti-football and beating the big boys, this one's for you. It's fair to say that PSG had no answer for our type of football. And we battered the best team in France 3-1.
And I did this for you.
So on New Year's Eve, at roughly the halfway point of the season, we're sitting decently in 10th position. And no one can touch us in terms of average possession, 64%. So this is going better than I thought. I'm actually really enjoying playing anti-football and loving those floated crosses. If it wasn't working, the option was to push these up a little bit more like that if we're struggling for goals. But at the minute, we just beat PSG, let's stick as we are. It was all going so well, but then we were dumped out of the cup by Lille despite dominating. And we lost away at Nice and again against Rennes. So then I obviously panicked and made some more changes. I threw in counter-attack, early crosses, and thankfully that gave the team a little bit of a boost and we got back to it. After 3 straight defeats, we've got 3 wins in a row. The good times kept rolling as we BS'd our way to an away win at Marseille. God, I love those crosses. Maybe it's a thing in today's football where nobody can deal with big, high, horrible crosses.
Have it.
That is the epitome of stealing a win. Love to see it. Since those changes from here on the way down, we've been absolutely flying. Next up, it's PSG away. I'm guessing they're looking for revenge. We battled bravely the entire match. It took a 96th minute winner to beat us. To be fair, we did exactly the same in the next match. With our trademark 1-0 win, it meant we wrapped the season in 7th position. A decent season, all things considered. We scored 33 times, so less than a goal a match, but we also only conceded 30. But we were one of the only 2 teams to beat PSG all season. And at 64%, we had the most possession in the league, even beating PSG. So I would say that version of it was slightly more successful when we brought in floated crosses and ramped that higher lineup just to give us some more attacking threat, because movement when you've got everyone on defence is not going to be great, is it? But overall, I'm marking that as a success. Our biggest defeat was 3-0 and, never forget, we battered PSG.
Cinema.